Imagine being told your country has no debt because your lights are off, your stomach is empty, and your president decided calories were overrated. In the 1960s and early 70s, Romania was hailed as a communist success story. President Nicolae Ceaușescu was considered, even by the West, to be one of the more enlightened Eastern Bloc leaders. He raised wages, encouraged consumption, cut the price of goods, and reformed pensions. His economy, powered by massive investment in heavy industry, was one of the fastest growing in the world. But beneath the surface, this growth was a mirage. Factories were producing goods no one needed. Petrochemicals, steel, overbuilt and underutilized. The economy was rigid, obsessed with scale. 85% of output came from factories with more than 1,000 workers. Worse still, entire sectors were falsifying production data to maintain appearances. It was a Potemkin economy. To keep up this illusion, Ceaușescu borrowed heavily. Romania's external debt soared from $1.2 billion in 1971 to $13 billion by 1982. The West was happy to lend, hoping a more independent Romania would break from Moscow's grip. But when the oil shocks hit, interest rates exploded, and the illusion cracked. Instead of restructuring debt like nearly every other country did, Ceaușescu made a choice that still baffles economists: pay back every dollar, no matter the cost. Romania would become debt-free, and it did. But at what price? To service the debt, imports were slashed. The country stopped importing food despite being a net importer. Exports were forced up. Convertible currency exports were prioritized at all costs. The result? By 1983, Romania faced chronic food shortages. Meat, milk, bread, sugar, rationed. Outside the capital, people stood in lines for hours with coupons just to buy cooking oil. And then came the calorie cuts. Ceaușescu launched a so-called rational eating program that claimed Romanians were overeating. Daily intake was cut by up to 15%, targeting just 2,800 calories per person per day. But that was fiction. Most people were eating far less. The reality was hunger, and weight loss not by choice, but by decree. Meanwhile, children and university students, millions of them, were forced into the fields each year to work harvests. Agriculture was still highly inefficient, employing over 30% of the workforce, but getting little investment. The situation grew so bad that even electricity was rationed to prioritize industry. Hospitals lost power mid-surgery. Neonatal units saw babies die from lack of heat. Hot water was available 1 day a week. Petrol was rationed to just 30 liters per car per month. Private driving bans became routine. Even television was limited to 2 hours a day to conserve electricity. All of this was justified as patriotic sacrifice. Yet the government still built the House of the People, a grotesque, oversized palace that devoured national resources while people froze and starved. And then came the assault on wages. In 1982, a law forced workers to invest part of their income in state companies, slashing take-home pay. Another reform introduced performance-based pay, but only if unrealistic quotas were met. Most weren't. Real wages collapsed, inflation soared, black markets thrived, but few could afford them. Meanwhile, Ceaușescu's government slashed social spending. Between 1980 and 1985, housing investment dropped 37%, healthcare by 17%, and education, culture and science by over 50%. AIDS spread in hospitals due to reused needles. Infant mortality spiked, among the highest in Europe. And still, Ceaușescu persisted. He shut down regional radio, centralized all media, insulated himself from reality. But the cracks were spreading. By 1988, GDP shrank by 0.5%. In 1989, it collapsed by another 5.8%. Workers were starving. Infrastructure was crumbling. The military turned. The party turned. The people revolted. By March 1989, Romania was one of the only countries on Earth with zero external debt. The CIA World Factbook even noted it. Romania external debt, none. But what Ceaușescu erased in debt, he paid for in blood. In December 1989, he was overthrown, tried and executed alongside his wife. Romania emerged from the darkness, but the cost of that economic miracle was a decade of suffering, millions of lives diminished, and a country so drained it would take a generation to rebuild. Communist Romania proved you can kill your debt, if you're willing to kill your economy, your infrastructure, and your people.